Today I'm going to do a video showing you how I hooked this Halo LED light into the electric bike. It's good for up to 50 volts. This is the one I've already installed on one of my other bikes. It's hooked into the ignition, or not the ignition, but the battery. When you turn the battery on, the halo lights up. Then when you turn the bike on, there we go. When you turn the lights on, the headlight comes on. So I'm going to be doing a video today to show you how to make this work for your bike. First, you're going to find the wire that comes back from your headlight right here. And you're going to disconnect that. You just give it a firm tug. And we're going to use this wire on the new headlight. Next, we're going to remove the original headlight. You need a 10mm socket wrench on this end and a 5mm Allen on this side. We will be reusing the bracket that holds the original headlight to mount the new headlight, as it just seems to work better that way, at least in my book. So you're going to want to remove this bracket here from the old headlight, and also you're going to be clipping the cable off the old headlight, as we'll be reusing this cable on the new light. Next, I'm going to cut the cable off the old light. This one is burned out, so I no longer need this light. Just going to clip it off right at the light there. And when you strip this off, see you have a black and red wire inside there. That's going to be color coded to fit the new headlight. Next, I'm going to take an 8mm nut driver to loosen the nut on the bracket. Set this aside to use for the new headlight. Then I'm going to take the existing bolt and nut and put it back on the bracket. I'm not going to tighten it yet. Okay, take this bracket and I put it right up to almost the curve, and I tighten it in a vise or some other similar clamp if you don't have a vise. Heat it just a little bit with a torch and straighten it out with a hammer like so. Bloody child locks. Probably heat it for about 30 seconds to a minute. Get her just about a 90-degree angle. Should be good to go. Next, I'm going to take the headlight, the bracket, mount it all to here. Just take the bolt, drop it through there. That's got a protruding wedge there, so it keeps your nut from slipping loose. Then you're going to want to adjust this bolt on the end a little bit so you can get squeeze against this bolt. It's a pretty firm metal, so I have to work a little bit to get it in there. There you go. Of course, I always use our lock washers. Get that as close to the wedge there as you can. That'll give it something to rest up against and also make it a little more solid. Yeah, and back up just a little bit. Get a 13mm nut driver and get that on there and push it up against the front side there. Tighten it a couple turns. Make sure you got it perfectly straight. Still a little there. Just get her good and tight. You can always snug it up later on the bike too if you need to adjust it with an end wrench. And we're going to mount the light facing away from the bracket. Now I'm going to snug it up just enough to where the light doesn't move around on me. So when I put it on the bike, it's not flopping around. That'll do it for now. Yeah, maybe just a hair more, but you get the idea. Next, a lot of people, I use the headlight signal for the headlight itself. It's just going to be black to black, red to red, and that will, I haven't had any issues with this so far at all. And then what I did is I ran this yellow wire. This is for your halo. If you choose to use that, you can either mount a separate switch, go into the battery circuit, or you can hook it directly as I did. I hooked it to where the battery terminal comes off to the main board. Between the battery and the controller anyways, on the positive side, I actually hooked this into there because when you turn your battery key on and off, that will turn your halo on here. And then when you actuate your headlights, it's actually going to feed like it normally would on the other headlight, and your headlight will work just fine. These pull about 40 watts from what I've gathered, and from testing, that's right around, pretty close to accurate. And I haven't had any issues with the controller so far. So with that being said, I'm gonna proceed forward with showing you how to wire this up into the bike itself, but I'm gonna go ahead and solder these together so it's ready to plug into the bike. And this is the wire that I removed from the original headlight. I strip them this way because that way there's no chance of losing any strands of wire. Plus it's quicker. The wire's this small, it's a bit more of a pain to strip with general wire strippers, so. And then I will twist these all together and solder. I always use solder on my connections. And then I will heat shrink tube them as well. And this connection point will actually be, I bring it around behind the headlight here and attach it to the bracket so it's secure. And this wire here gives me enough juice to get to the bike. So I did some research into the wiring on the bike, and there is a wire that comes off the control panel. It is a blue wire. I did an updated video with no sound showing the lead coming from the control box, not the motor wire. That's the bigger wire coming in. Both plugs look similar, but it's the plug that goes from the control box to the control panel. And there's a blue wire in there that puts out 50 volts when the bike is powered on with the mode button. I went ahead and hooked the Halo into that, so the Halo turns on when you turn the bike on with the mode button, and then the headlight comes on when you actuate the headlight and taillight on the bike. So with that being said, the Halo pulls roughly under 5 watts anyway, so it's not much of a power draw, and it doesn't affect the performance on the bike whatsoever. Do this at your own risk, because some people are very hesitant about hooking anything into the control box. I've found that as long as you don't exceed the rating of the control box, it's not a problem. Something like the Halo LED doesn't pull enough power to cause problems, but the regular headlight pulls 40 watts, and I've had that hooked into the headlight circuit for about 300 miles now, and I haven't had any issue with that, so I'm going to keep it that way. If you want to hook it into the external switches, that's cool too. It works either way. Everybody has a preference on how they want to do things, so yeah, with that being said, I updated the video to show that wiring and how it's hooked into there. If anybody has any questions, or if you need any other how-to videos or anything I can help with, don't be afraid to comment and ask, subscribe. I'll try to put up more videos as I discover more things about circuitry on the bikes. I guess that's about it. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Thought I'd put it out there. Took a little longer than I wanted it to, but hey, it's done. So yeah, thanks. So just a little recap of what I've done with the bike. The headlight is mounted to the original bracket, and when you turn the bike on, this is when you power up with the mode button. You get the Halo, which is on all the time. It's a pretty good visibility option, considering it's probably more noticeable than the original headlight that come on the bike. And then when you turn your headlights on, that comes on with the tail light back there. And as you can see, it's got a nice beam. It's pretty bright at night. It lights up the road really well. The wires from the light basically follow the headlight wires back through the wrapping into the control box. And also, one of the options I want to do is find out if there's a way to put a 5-volt USB port on here. If I come up with something like that, I will make another video. Hope you guys have enjoyed the information. Sorry it's a little unprofessional, but one of my very first how-to videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe or comment on anything and I'll respond.